Cruising down the street in my 6'4", jocking the freaks, clocking the dough. Went to the park to get the scoop. Knuckleheads outside cold shooting some hoop. A car pulled over, who can it be? A fresh El Camino rolling Kilo G. He rolled down the window, then he started to say, it's all about making that GTA, because the boys in the hood are always hard. Come talking to trash, they'll pull your card. Ain't nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said, I ain't said a thing, boy. I ain't said a thing, boy. Man, 64. Cruising down the street in my 6'4". What a song. Man, this past weekend, I was at this concert, and the DJ, he was playing everything in the world, trying to get people lit, trying to get people up. And the best thing he did was play that song. And here we are, 2025, and when he played that, it was just a crowd cooperation. And this was in Brooklyn. This was in Prospect Park, cruising down the street in my 6'5". Something about that. That was a home run. Sometimes your first hit, the first time you step up to the plate is a home run. And you just got to believe in yourself, man. You got to believe in that gut feeling. That gut feeling is something special, isn't it? That's really your God talking to you. That gut feeling. Boom, 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 boom. That right there, when you be feeling like, oh, this is it. That's the big G talking to you. And talking about the big G, I think my cat, Lucy, I think she circled the drain. I think she made one last spin around the drain and went somewhere to that pet cemetery in the sky. I ain't seen her in a couple days. And she's been looking a mess for a minute. And you know, I respect her for toughing it out. It's been a hot summer. She's old. She's an outside cat, a feral cat. For those of y'all who don't know what feral means, it means never been domesticated and unwilling to be domesticated, and cool with that. But you know, she done had her issues, and it's crazy. That's what age does, right? It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. You know, we could be in 2025, the land of the robots and the mechanisms, and we're going forward, but there's still that age-old arc of birth, and then you circle the drain. And you're out of here. And you're out of here. Now, I can't confirm Lucy's passing, but I just got a feeling she went somewhere peaceful. Now, she might be across the street having cat sex. I don't know. But last time I put some food out there, she didn't eat it, and she just seemed like she got Catheimers. You know, she don't really be remembering shit. She don't chase nothing. She'll every now and then be prancing, but it was kind of like, yeah, this ain't real cat action I'm witnessing. So everybody send a little prayer for Lucy. She was a good one. Is a good one. Life is eternal. Life never ends, like the Delphonics say. Life never ends. But yeah, man, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And what does that mean? The more things change, the more they stay the same. I guess the more you think things are changing, the more they're really just leading to the same entrance. My son made this post, man. And he said, you enter this world with nothing, you spend your life chasing everything, and you leave this world with nothing. Woof. Woof. That's partially true. But there is accumulation along the way. You do experience things, and you might leave some mammon back for your kids or for your people. You know, you might make the world a better place. And that might be the wake in which you left. You know, those might be the waves in the water that were left as your ship sailed. So it's our job not to really even worry about any of that. It's our job to do the things that we have to do in front of us. We have things to do. We have assignments. We got stuff that we have to do. And just be consistent with it, you know? Like me, I exercise all the damn time and I got a fucking belly. I always been kind of a big kid, you know, but I'm sick of this belly shit. And the crazy part, I know how to get rid of it in 14 days. Like I know how to see my whole, at least 4 of a 6-pack in 14 days. But it's something about my conviction to do it the way I'm doing it instead of doing it the way I know how to do it. And the way I know how to do it, it's devotion. It's I ain't with none of the fuzz of the earth. I just like get to this place. But for some reason, I've been ignoring that. And that's what I got to address with myself, you know? And that's part of what I'm trying to consider the work I need to do. And it's not just for cosmetic, you know, how I'm looking at shirt reasons, but you know, that shit impacts health. That shit impacts movement. That shit impacts mood. Just like when you fit in your body good, you know, just all the way good. Now, don't get it effed up. I'm sexy. I'll snatch your squaw. But all I'm saying is, this time is going by, and sometimes I just don't feel like I'm giving it 100% when nobody's looking. Fuck. What do you do when nobody's looking? Forget all that. Y'all are looking right now. And welcome to episode 64 of Sorry for My Language. Mm-hmm. 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 Welcome to episode 64, Sorry for My Language. Sorry for My Language is my lifestyle philosophy, culture, and music show. We talk about all of them. It's a big lumping dumpling of a show. I'm Grindstone, your host, and all of this is made possible through Grindstone Universal. That's the place where product is made and truth is revealed. I said product. Where progress is made and truth is revealed. Grindstone Universal. Right now, go to grindstoneuniversal.com. Oh, we active globally. grindstoneuniversal.com. Live from Washington, D.C., but you know where we're from.
Oakland, California, that's where I'm from. Don't stop macking. Don't stop tapping. Don't stop.
grindstoneuniversal.com, that is. Active since 1997. You know? Legal since 1998 on the books. You know? And, you know, with that, that kind of goes into my theme. To be consistent is to be amazing. And what we have to do, we have to be consistent. Consistency is it's the sauce in the spaghetti of life. It's the thing that makes everything make sense. You know, who wants some chopped up celery and some noodles and a meatball? You don't really want that, but the sauce makes it make sense, right? So you have all these different goals, all these different things you do, all these different interactions, and it's the consistency that makes all that stuff make sense. I think that you know, I'm just going to tell you like it is, man. Right now in Washington, D.C., we're in a police state, right? And in this police state, a lot of people have totally frozen their whole, everything that they're doing to see what's next or to see like what's going to happen next. And I don't really think that being arrested before you get arrested is going to help any of the development that you're trying to develop, you know? And one thing that people need to apply is consistency to their program when things get tough. And I'm not gonna front, man. Last night uptown, shit, it was hell up in Harlem last night. It was going down, man. The new plan of the regime to show force by the feds, they showed up uptown in crazy force. They arrested a lot of people. I know a lot of them are going to be on a 3-day hold at least in jail because I know they're stuffing the courts. And so it's a really messy situation. But then the question comes back to, what are you doing with time? You know, if you were to be one of the people who got locked up for 12 hours or 3 days or a week, what would you be missing that you'd be doing? How do you spend your time? What's going to be your best defense of why you don't need to be somewhere doing nothing? Beyond the judge, beyond the courtroom. Can you say, man, I don't need to be in here because I would otherwise be doing this? What is your this? Is it just I'm walking around being human, enjoying my life, having a brew? Is that what it is? I know I said it in a cynical way. Or is it like, no, I have a purpose. I'm doing something. I'm trying to be excellent at this. I'm really working at this. I'm really doing something. You know? I mean, are you really doing something? Hopefully you are. Hopefully you have something that keeps you focused so you don't get into the distractions that's going to get you into the Fed spider web. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's going to face one of these federal agencies in the next 30 to 90 days is doing something wrong. But you really lower your chances when you're doing something right. Yeah. That deserves all the, yeah. And so if you're in the company of people who, not to say they're not doing something right, but who are just predictably unproductive and they're not really doing shit, you're probably in the wrong room, homie. Your ass is in the wrong room if you want better results out of life. And so I've actually figured out what I think is it's a contingency plan for this whole police action. I figured something out. Okay, so right now, people have stopped in their tracks doing several of the things that they feel they need to be doing or they would be doing in life. People are paranoid. The city's on edge. It's not really the cup of tea that you wanted to drink this week. But what were you drinking otherwise? Were you really doing something? Were you really pushing that line? Were you really pushing yourself to your beautiful limit? Well, if so, keep going. If not, reevaluate. So today I'm going to give you my summation of how the city of Washington, D.C. can and should change now. Right now. Okay, now this is the remember my last a couple podcasts ago, a couple shows ago, but I was talking about your alpha waves and your beta waves in your brain. So in your beta wave, you're thinking, oh my gosh, what happens now? How do I make now better? Where's the Band-Aid? What's the decision I need to make now? Your alpha wave, you're a little more laid back. You can see the play from a little further back. You can slow it down, and you can make a decision based on what's ideal as opposed to the opportunity that presents itself. It's more ideal. You create the opportunity with that. I figured that out. So this is the new play. All right, now first of all, my stance, as I've said before, I think that as far as the crime in DC is concerned, the shit's is bad. Okay, I've seen people trying to act like we all right. No, we not all right. We have been totally unable to govern ourselves. We get an F in self governance as DC residents. There's not enough teachers. There's not enough effort. People are scared of people. As social as this city is very antisocial when it comes to, I don't know, people even knowing one another's kids and shit. Motherfuckers don't know each other's kids like that. It's just weird, man. And I'm not blaming this on DC. I just think it's a result of the time that we're in, you know? You'd be asking somebody how they are and they'd be like, "Didn't you see me on Instagram? I was flossing." Yeah, I don't see your damn Instagram. I'm on the phone with you. I'm asking you how you were. Why are you on the phone with me? Text me. I don't feel like talking, right? It's just like that kind of weirdo stuff going on. And I'm not even one of the people to be saying weird. I don't think weird is bad, but we're in a situation where we don't do enough of the critical things to keep our own order. And so the result that we have is it is squalor. Let's not fake like it's something different. We're left with squalor. Social squalor is what we have. Now, in terms of American cities, places where black people can live and exist and coexist and build peacefully, I rank DC very high, if not at the top. But if DC is at the top, what does that say for the places in America where black people have to live? If DC is at the top and you might get your shit broken into, what does that say about the condition of where that's been carved out for black people in this country, man? So anyway, enough of that. Here's the solution, real brief and simple. I do think that we have a problem on self-governance. We just don't, there's not enough positive peer pressure going on, you know? I do like the fitness work going on that a lot of people are doing. I like the push-up challenges. Being such a young race, when I say young, I mean being in this country, being free, being able to make decisions without getting spanked for it. We, black people, we are confused. Now, I'm just talking about black people on this. America is a young culture society, not young in terms of the citizens, but I mean, America didn't know shit 200 years ago. Shit, America didn't know shit. Like, people was having sex with their siblings and shit. They still are. 2 hours that way, hour and a half that way. America's a fool. And the culture's not baked into things that are going to be healthy decisions based on longevity. Even today, America does not think about longevity. Motherfuckers just be knee jerking. And so, with that being considered, I like the efforts that black people are taking in terms of coming together and working out together. At the very least, this is starting healthy conversations. This is starting healthy communal activities. You don't have to get together and get drunk every time you connect. You don't have to zone out and be as high as you can be. You don't have to argue. It's not about beefing over money. There is a productive way. And if that's how it gets introduced through the physical work, I'm with that. So, with that being a new beginning, just a new semblance of a beginning. I remember in the 90s was rap ciphers. Then rap turned into a big industry. And, we got divided over rap. But there is a way that we can take the personnel that we have in our neighborhoods and we can start to at least change how we look at one another with the healthy respect towards one another. Okay? Which will cut down on hell of the crime aside from the need, especially with this digital era. Like, I hope all these push up, pull up, bar dip motherfuckers click up together and get sponsorships and get money for it. I hope a healthy lifestyle being propagated to the masses brings health and some paper. That shit is dope, right? So I think that the car break-ins, the carjackings, the shootings, all that shit, man, y'all really out there shooting for nothing. You may as well go to Dave and Buster's and have contests on who can shoot the most fake ducks out the sky on the screen, because y'all shooting for nothing. Ego, maybe. Really need to stall all that out. But something had to happen, okay? So with the new something happening, this is how I feel the end game to the Fed occupation can present itself. Is you listening? Is you listening? Now, there are a lot has been made of what's happening here in the news. And imagine if you were to put on a football uniform and get put in the game. You want to play, don't you? Well, guess what? All these young agency, FBI, DEA, all these dudes who are gun trained and all that, they want to play too. They got put in the game and they want to play. And that's what makes this like a hell of a time. But I think that if we don't give them nothing to play with, especially our lives, I think that they're going to have to find some use for themselves. And I think one of the ways that they can become useful, because until we get the shit together, we might need some presence. Presence with a C. We might need some fucking presence. And I hate to say that shit because like one of my good men on the gram said, he was like, once you let them in, it's kind of like sinners. You invite them in and they come in and poison everybody. I believe a lot of that. And so that's what makes this such a fucked up decision for me, because what's the jolt that gets us to improve ourselves? Like, at what point do we say, you know what? I'm going to be better today. I don't know. But anyway, I know I keep beating around the bush. Here's the solution, real quick. If we don't give them anything to play with, including our lives, what will happen is they will have to find use, because people without purpose die. And they don't want to come out here and find themselves on the hook for no progress. And even if it's not to their boss, they don't want to find, and when I say they, I mean the FBI, DEA, the U.S. Marshals, Park Police, all of them. They don't want to find themselves just like, damn, I came, I saw, I did nothing. They don't want that. So what they should do is become a service to the people. Imagine this. Imagine if you go out at night, you park your car, you're worried about your car getting broken into. Never fear. You could park anywhere because Officer so-and-so is over there. They could be the new, they could be like parking attendants, so like the whole street is like a safe parking lot, not where they about to give you tickets. No, not where they about to penalize you or bad talk you or even walk up on you and ask you no damn questions, right? But they could just be there. And so whoever's about to break in a car knows that, like, damn, I can't really do that because at the top of the block, it's a sharpshooter, Fuck it. So if I could park my car here, like if I could park my car in Union Market, or if I could park my car over on 8th Street, or if I could park my car in some of the cuts and just be there all night and know that, well, not all night, but be there, until the spot lets out and know that I'm going to come out and my window's not broken and nobody went through my stuff, then officer, you have made yourself a use. That's one thing you can do. Let me give you another tip that you could do. I saw a video of an officer, everybody, it's kind of viral. Officer went up to, and I don't know if he was with the Park Police or what, I can't remember what division he was in, but he went up to somebody's door and he was explaining to him the new enforcement that's going to be here for at least the next 30 days. I think that mentality was really good with that engagement, but then you really got to get the fuck out the way to let us live peacefully. But the information is excellent, right? And then just the humanizing of the situation is excellent as well. But if besides making sure that everybody's car is safe and you keeping shit at bay like that, I think that in front of drinking establishments, if there was just like a truck set up with maybe like a sign on it, it could even be a magnetic sign, and it could be the breathalyzer truck. Peep this idea. The breathalyzer truck, right? Let me say it like this. The breathalyzer truck. You could walk out of the bar. There's the breathalyzer truck. Now, they're not there to turn you in. They're not there to give you a DUI. None of that. But if you was like, how much alcohol did I consume? If I get pulled over, what's going to happen? Never fear. You go to the breathalyzer truck, do a breathalyzer, and if you're teetering around the legal limit, now you know. And they'll be like, hey, look. The breathalyzer officer could be like, hey, look. It's a fool out there, man. It's 850 cops of different agencies on the street at this hour right now. If you do any type of swerving, any type of funny type of driving, you might get pulled over and your whole history is going to get ran. And if you got one nick on who you are, tonight you might be in jail. So with this kind of number that you just blew on the breathalyzer, find another way home. You could park right here. Your car is safe. Damn. That would be dope, right? Now y'all are changing the narrative on this big ass army shit you giving. And y'all don't need to be wearing no fucking camouflage in the city. This ain't Vietnam. Camouflage doesn't work in the city. You stick out like a sore thumb. You're wearing the wrong damn outfit. So all that tank shit, all that camouflage shit, you don't match the scenario, so you don't blend in. You stick out and kind of stick out like a clown. So we don't need that type of clown intimidation type stuff. We need y'all to be of service. We need y'all, say if it's a overturned garbage can, pick that shit up. So those are just a few things. You could keep the car safe and you could keep the driver safe if they've had too much to drink out of the establishments. But what you're about to do, like, one thing that's about to happen now, and it's probably started happening already in DC, I'm sure as of this week, hell of people who are going to go out and enjoy themselves at some type of little establishment, maybe a restaurant or something, I'm sure hell of them passed on the invitation and it was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to lay low tonight. I don't need that type of fury. I'm cool. I'm sure a lot of people said they cool. It turned down a lot of invitations. People ain't stop having birthdays, and it's still summer. But I'm sure a lot of people like turned down some of the possibilities just because the ghetto red hot right now, and the narrative needs to change in both ways. The crime wave has got to stop. You go places and motherfuckers just be stealing and fucking up shit and just tearing shit up. Honestly, I know people want to soften that narrative on social media, but they're lying. Shit should be going down. But the officers, if you're getting paid hourly and you got to be here, man, change your whole outlook on the place that you got paid to occupy and work at. Like, be part of a solution. And if you just start dominating and kicking everybody's ass, you're not solving nothing. You're creating angst. And for every tyrant who exercises tyranny, you are creating another class of rebels. So while you might think you've just created work for the next generation, which you probably have, you created an enemy for life. And we don't have to coexist like this as humans, you know? We really don't. And if you stick around long enough, some of y'all cops, some of y'all feds, and some of y'all citizens might start dating. And then some of y'all might have babies. And then you have automatic empathy. There's that part too. So we're going to need the freakazoids to go out there, the civilian freakazoids go out there and put it on these dudes. Put it on them. So then they have a vested interest in the people, right? It's like, dang, my baby mama live up that block. I don't really want to terrorize that block. I want to help. And now we're back to the oldest profession again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Lord. It's that part too. But yeah, so while we in DC, in order for everybody to experience some sort of mental peace as a solution to the inevitable occupation of the nation's capital of the authoritarian fascist regime, just look at it like this. If everybody starts to embody a solution or starts to embrace a solution mentally, then we'll be able to achieve a solution. And the solution to crime is positive peer pressure. Encourage your friends to do better. Another another way to embrace solution is for those on the Fed police side to look at the people as humans and help them out. One way that you can help the people out is not only to let them know what's afoot, but then be like, hey, look, don't trip. Matter of fact, this camouflage shit that matches the grass while I'm on the concrete, I'm not going to wear this. We'll wear some, uniform shit, but not look like we're about to go to classic war. But we'll be right over here and we'll make sure that none of these cars get broken into today. Glorified parking attendants in this biatch. That's what y'all should be. And then you know what? Here's another solution. This is just a recap. We'll look over these as you come, as the patrons of your business. This is from the Fed side to the business owner. As the patrons of your businesses come out, restaurateur, bar owner, we're going to make sure that they'll be able to measure their intoxication levels with our breathalyzer. And we will recommend, can't force them, but we'll recommend that they find another way home. It could be by foot, it could be by a cab, it could be by a shared ride, but we'll make sure that they don't get behind the wheel and endanger people and endanger themselves from incurring a lawsuit of some sort, whether it's from a DUI or an accident. That's the way we can make this shit harmonious. But live from the belly of the beast, I'm telling you what I know. Something had to change. And we were not very good at changing it ourselves. And when I say we, I mean, I'm not talking French, but I mean the DC populace was not very good at bringing about change in the communities. People who worked hard, we applaud you. But not enough of us worked hard, And that's because not enough of us worked on ourselves. We were all working in beta brain trying to get stuff. But remember, you come in this world alone with nothing. You spend your life doing what you do, and then you leave with nothing. So to leave nothing in your wake but selfishness, you got a 0 + 0 + 0 sum. So it's just a way to look at it from the bird's eye view, just to pull back, getting your alpha brain a little bit, getting your theta brain a little bit. Get out your beta brain, Be an idealist rather than an opportunist. And if we all work on ourselves in that way, then we will be able to collectively come to these points in which we see, you know what, the federal, I don't know, I don't even know what to call them, federal agents want to be in this city. They actually want to be in this motherfucker to keep the jails empty because they'll be improving the communities. They actually won't want to prey on people. They'll actually help. Now, some jackals out there, that's why they build jails, right? But most of the people, they need communication and they need redirection. And if it takes somebody in a uniform to do that, then uniformed person, do like homie did on that video where he was talking to the dudes, just hipping them to what was going on. Be that guy. Be that lady. Okay? And in the meantime, without pressuring somebody, procreate a little bit. Procreate with a civilian. Civilians procreate with them. Let's build this bridge. Let's build this great American bridge between authoritarianism and feudalism. We could do that, can't we? Have some raw sex. Have some raw sex with somebody in uniform. Yo! Then it's tough, right? Then we've compromised something. And then you know what? Get married. Yeah. Have a legally binding entanglement with somebody on the Fed side of the law. So then the Fed side of the law is not just another side. Then it's like, man, we family. Then they can't do that bullshit. Now, I'm not going to do that. But I'm just saying, if some of y'all looking for solutions, you might want to look at it that way. And for some of you pure-hearted feds, you might want to fall in love with somebody who you thought was less than human. But the only way you're going to do that is by communicating with them, by looking them in the eye, by talking to them. And you might want to offer some of your resources rather than your gun barrel. Pull that little shield up off your helmet. Talk to people. See where you're at. Yeah, it's probably grew up in West Virginia, Wisconsin, somewhere else start with a W, Warsaw. And you're probably just up here just trying to flex. And come on, tough guy. What you really gonna do? What you really gonna do? Have nightmares or fall in love? What about you, tough girl? I know that 401k they giving you sounds sweet, but that don't mean that you're gonna earn it better by being a damn killing oppression machine. So I'm talking to you, feds. Be human. It's possible. You do have a job to do because the city does need to be checked because we have trouble checking our fucking selves. But that don't mean you got to be out here being animalistic. And that don't mean that you could be out here without clear judgment. Okay? You might have a superior at your job saying, we need 450 people in jail by the 29th of the month. Maybe you have like some wild shit like that. But what if you could just curve that shit and just tell people like, look, man, I just talked to these people. And then those people didn't break that law. I sat my car on top of the block and nobody broke into cars on that block. I helped somebody take their groceries in or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be an asset because your ass is here. Your ass is here in Washington, D.C. So just be better, do better. That is a solution. And I ain't heard that shit from the damn mayor. We continuously elect the wrong people, but we're going to do better. I promise we're going to do better. But anyway, you could take this, if you're in the Beltway area, if you're in Washington, D.C., actually, you could hold this, okay? If you have people who are in the Washington, D.C. area and you're not here, just know that I'm one of many people who are on these Wi-Fi waves giving you the truth of the matter as it happens daily. And yes, indeedy, I am outside every day. When I mean outside, I mean I'm walking through the community. I walk my errands. I go in public places. I know the temperature. I know the temperature. I'm giving you it the best I know it. Okay? So take that, hold that. I'm Grindstone, baby. And I almost forgot to tell you the obvious. When you're here, it's a little thumbs up button. Click that thumbs up button. That'll get this thing circulating in the algorithm more, right? And when it's in the algorithm more, the message that you like or the message that you love to hate is going to be pumping, right? So like, subscribe, share this with your group text thread, share this with your mammy, share this with the homies, show a little clip to somebody so we get this motherfucker cracking. You know? Episode 64 of Sorry for My Language. I gotta go do something positive, man. I gotta go exercise. I gotta go be a witness to my fitness. You know? This is all impermanent. We're gonna get through this phase together. Peace.